y'all, it's Bonnie at Craft Your Lifestyle. I hope everyone is well. I'm a little hoarse today. I got a sore throat and cough and all that fun stuff. So I am home working and at my craft desk, and I wanted to do this flip through with another journal that I'm making of the same book, but this one's complete, and so I wanted to go ahead and do this one, and then I might make some subsequent videos of me working on finishing the other journal of the story of Christmas. But this one's done and I'm so super excited about it, so I wanted to show you. But so this was a smaller book. I kept the spine intact, and for the first time I used some grommets to reinforce the holes that I punched on the spine, and one up here so I can put a dangle on. That's the only thing that's not done yet. So I did put this ring with a little tag on it, and I got some really cute stamps that I'm gonna stamp on here, and I'll show you those at the end of the video. But so this was a vintage book, The Story of Christmas, and on a lot of my books I like to make a homemade fabric snippet roll, and I wanted to use some more muted colors. This didn't really call for the red and green and snowmen and all that being the, you know, story of Christmas. So I just used some neutral pieces of fabric and made a snippet roll. And then on the inside, I don't know, I did do a little bit of red and green. It's a little more muted though. But I wanted to cover the spine where I taped it for reinforcement, and then I just did something on the border there because it was a little bit uneven. Still in the brown family, so it's okay. And then I made a very small cardboard spine to reinforce some more. I like to make sure that the stuff is strong and it's not gonna go anywhere. So I used a really pretty coordinating paper collection. I believe it was from Echo Park, and it was called Wise Men Still Seek Him. I think it's several years old. I probably got it at Tuesday Morning when they were still around, but I knew I saved things for a particular reason, and this was perfect. So that's what this first page is. I only did one signature in this book because it was a smaller spine, but I managed to stuff a lot of goodies in. So so there's this first page. I machine stitched around, did a sticker, and then some really old, you know, glitter dots out of my stash, that some of them, the sticky was even coming off. That's how old they were. So I tend to hold on to things a little bit, but this is a great excuse to use them. So the next page, here's a little clip. I just put some ribbon on, and here's a little glassine bag. I took some fabric pattern and then a piece from the paper collection, a little 4x4 card, and then inside I did a recipe card, and then another little card from the collection. You could put a picture on the back of that or even write on it if you'd like. And I love the double-sided paper in a book where you sew in the signatures, so that way you have something on both sides. All of the pages were in super great shape for this book, so I was able to use all of them. I mean, somebody wrote their name on there, but I mean, that's no biggie. So I was able to take it apart carefully, keep the signatures or the book pages intact so I could put them in together with the signatures. So let's dive in here. I mean, the illustrations are beautiful. Here's a really old postcard, nothing written on it except for an address. I think that's so cool. And this little playing card set that I got, like a little game or a little Bible story card set. This was just ribbon on here with some fabric snippets to cover my staples from this side. Okay, one thing you'll see in all of my journals, I love staples so much. I love the way they look. I love that it's kind of messy. Another paper clip with some ribbon on it, and then just a sticker from that collection. And this is a really nice blank space for people to write with. I've been watching another gal on YouTube. Her name is Lisa, and her YouTube channel is called It's Only Paper. And I love seeing her ideas. And one thing she did, I mean, just to spruce up your journal a little bit, take some ribbon or fabric and staple them to the tops of pages like little tabs. So I did that in this one, and I had such a good time doing that. So that's just what I did here. I have my stapler with my little rose gold staples. So this was a book page. This was out of a book called The Littlest Angel, I believe. And I just thought it was pretty. I mean, it's so cute. Another book page. Here's a book page too. Here's another piece of paper, double-sided, out of that same paper collection. And here's just a little bit of fabric on ribbon stapled on there. This was an old Christmas card that I took the front half of and kind of messily machine stitched on here for a corner pocket. And so I just stuck in, this was just out of an old crocheted Christmas stocking. I don't know, it's pretty old. Half of a time card, and then an old vintage flash card with some piece of trim stapled on there. And then again, you can see the tab on this side. This was just plain graph paper, but I did add a little tab with my punch. I don't have the beloved fishtail one that everybody has. I'm still looking. I guess I just haven't looked hard enough, but I do have this one, EK Success. They have my favorite punches because they're so sturdy and they punch through more than a very, very thin sheet of paper. So I have this one for tabs and I like it just fine. So I did a tab there. And then I found these dimensional stickers. Oh my gosh, they're so pretty. I got those at Hobby Lobby, and I actually had them in a little haul video that I did on my TikTok and Instagram. So if you're feeling like it, check that out. But these are really pretty, so I stuck that on there. Book page, and then another corner pocket. And I made these a while ago, but the color went with this whole theme. So I just glued a canceled Christmas stamp on there with some cheesecloth that I probably inked or dyed. Just glued it so it's a little corner tuck. Here's something else from this paper collection, but I actually put a little graph card on the back. It's another Project Life blank card with some fabric stapled, and then another from the collection, but I just did a little machine stitch on the bottom just for fun. And again, fabric on the top, stapled. This is blank. I mean, I do like to leave some blank pages just so people can put their own pictures, I mean, glue their own lists. I mean, do whatever they want to in these books. I'm gonna have a really hard time not keeping this one, but I say that about all the books, so I will have to let it go. But another book page here. This was one of the envelopes I made in one of my previous videos, and I just glued it on, but left it open so it still has the pocket. I put in little graph Project Life card with actually some old bed sheet, clean by the way, old bed sheet staple or sewed to the top, the other half of the time card, and then another little note card here. And tabs so people can pull them out easily. Here's another nice double-sided piece of paper from the collection. And then I just did a little fold out for some interest there. And sticker from the collection. There's the cheesecloth again with a little of the 3x4 cards. Book page. This was from another Christmas story book, and I thought the colors were pretty, and I just had some leftover ribbon that's fraying as we speak, but glued it on there just to jazz it up a little. More book page from this book. This was from a really pretty old magazine, I think from the late 60s, early 70s, Christmas stuff. And look at the pretty nativity scene. That's part of it there. This was a Christmas card. And then on the inside, I just glued a doily and one of these, it's kind of like chipboard picture frames. I think it was Tim Holtz. And I left the top open, and that's why I stuck these little tickets in so people could see they could slide their own picture in. Small picture, but a picture nonetheless. Here's just a blank page with a sticker from the paper collection, and I had made this one into a pocket. So for pockets, I like to use double-sided paper just so the inside or outside isn't all white, but it really doesn't matter. I mean, it's whatever you have. So I put in some notebook paper. I got little gratitude page, daily devotional, little piece of note paper, and then another card from this collection with some graph on the back to write on, and then just a scrap piece of paper stapled on the top for a tab. This was paper that I probably either coffee dyed or avocado dyed, not sure. And then just some stamps stapled onto the side for a tab. Looks more like avocado dye, but I'm not sure. Dyeing paper is really not one of my favorite things to do. I love the way it looks, but I don't know. And I'm getting to the point where I'm going to have to dye paper, and I'm not really looking forward to it. So anyway, I digress. Recipe card in the other pocket, little church envelope, Merry Christmas note paper, and then another card with lines on the back for writing. And you can see I sewed these pockets to keep them together. And then also with more of this lovely fraying ribbon, stapled some ribbon on top. So this is the other half of that card with the wise men on it. And then the other part of the doily. And I just put, this is something I've never done before, but I love the way it looks. I just put a little piece of paper from the collection on there. And I mean, notes can be put on it, a picture, anything like that. Here's another one of my paper clips. Excuse me. Just some gold ribbon on top. A little Christmas card from a Christmas game. And then another note card. Journaling card. Okay, here's the other half of that magazine picture. Isn't that so pretty? I love that. It's so vintagey, retro looking. And I did a paper tab there. And there's the other side with the wise men. And then here's another book page. Here's the other half of the book page from the other side with some ribbon stapled. Book page. This is another dyed piece of paper. I just made a fold out because I had this scrap paper and I wanted to use it. I mean, it's a fine size to use. And then on the inside, I did a tuck spot with a 4x4 card and just added some of these in there. So you can write here, you could write here. And then on this side, I left it blank. Just did a little decoration there. That's the other side of the folded paper, so I kind of camouflaged that. Book page, book page. Okay, I have had these forever, these transparent things. You can put them over photos, I guess, but I thought it would be really pretty as like a fold over, and this tape doesn't stick very well, but then I thought one of the dimensional stickers would be really pretty on it. So I just did it over a plain piece of paper, put my fabric on top, and I used this tape that I bought that's supposed to be, it's supposed to look like old vintagey tape, like old Scotch tape. I think it's just actual Scotch tape that somebody made to look old, but I don't care because I really like it. So I used that to tape it on. It seems to be holding pretty well. I could have used a little glue stick to hold it better, but for the time being, it's fine. So people can put pictures under this or notes, anything. This side's blank. Book page. Okay, this came from a desk calendar that had a cross-stitch pattern for every day. So I thought this one was pretty with the dove and believe. So it folds out, and then you have a nice sheet for writing there. Then on this side, that's the other part of the fold-out sheet from this pattern. So I just taped it on, glued it, then put a little washi tape and a little nativity. Here's another double-sided page, just with a sticker from the collection, and I had machine stitched around that whole page. Book page, the other half of The Littlest Angel, book page, and then I have a bunch of these little things. So little ribbons, so I just stapled that on there. You can flip it up and write on here. Book page. Here's another pocket, actually half of it. There's the other half that we made in a previous video. So this side, I did some stenciling with oxide ink on this paper, just so it wasn't so stark white. Here's an old Rolodex card that I put some very I don't know, very thin material. I think it's from a scarf or something. And then just a sticker from the paper collection, and I inked the edges. So that's a nice journal card. This was from a whole 12 by 12 piece of paper. But I put it on the back of some lined scrapbook paper. And I thought that was really pretty. And then here's a 4 by 6 card from this paper collection with some of that bed sheet on there. I loved using the brown theme. It's something different than you would use for Christmas, but it all kind of matches this book, the muted colors and the neutral colors. So this side, this was, I think this is like a Christmas tag or something, but I thought it was so pretty with the starred paper here. So there's a journaling card, another journaling card. I'm not sure where I got these, but they didn't come with this paper collection. And then a little tiny notebook that I made. I hate throwing away scraps, so I try to use them, and these were scraps off of another notebook that I did. And I just took another piece of scrap paper, put it on top, and then machine stitched all the way through. So I have a bunch of scraps now, and I can make a bunch of those. So maybe I'll do that in another video if anyone has interest. Book page. And I believe this is the last page, and this one is machine stitched also with a little fabric snippet tag here, and then just another sticker like in the beginning with some of these glitter dots, and you can see the back cover and more fabric snippets. So that's that. Like I said, I still have to make a dangle for it, but I love it. Oh my gosh, I love it. I think it turned out so cute. So let me show you what I'm gonna stamp on here. So there's a company called Nora Jane on Etsy, and I have bought a whole bunch of these little stamps, and I can't think of what they're called right now, but I just got a new order. Snowflake, I don't know if y'all can see that really well, but I got Snowflake. Oh my gosh, this is the one I'm excited about. How cute is that? Oh my God, it's a little nativity set. So that's what I'm gonna stamp right here because I think it's the cutest. I got a Star of David, which I can also stamp in here. Oh, I got a snowman. Isn't he so sweet? Look at his long arms. I just loved him. She had some other ones, but I thought he was the cutest. A little tiny holly and berries. And the last one I got was another snowflake. So these are good for Christmas journals, but also just wintertime ones. And so anyway, check out her page. Check out her stamps. I have a bunch of them. And I can't say enough because they're great. They're great quality stamps, and her prices are fantastic too, and they get shipped really quickly. So thank you all so much for looking. Like I said, I'm working on the second book of The Story of Christmas, and I will have some more videos. I'm kind of halfway done with it. And right now I'm embellishing it, gluing things on pages, adding some fabric tabs, etc. So I will be back with another video of that, and then another flip through when I'm done. I hope y'all have a great day. Bye-bye.